Part 2 of the basic sneak animation for Chibi Robo, and we're going to add some secondaries here. All right, so let's kind of scrub this a little bit here. Oops, and kind of look at our animation. So there's that, and then we did the passing. Okay, and there it is, frame 25, and then the other foot now. We did the passing for that right there. Okay, so let's just add, let's kind of keep it simple. Let's start with the head right here. All right, so if we study this one on frame 1 and frame 13, we're just trying to kind of keep it, you know, kind of straight right there. We could have rotated this some more, like so, okay? But I think a little bit of angle in there would work, okay? And then when we went to the contact position again, it's just a little bit up, it's just the angle of the body, and then same thing right here, and then of course expect to see that on the other one. Okay, so we're gonna add a little bit of kind of like a head bob in the back going like this. Okay, so the rotation on frame 1 is that one, and then let's say we go I don't know, or let's go frame 6. Okay, frame 6, we rotate this back a bit, kind of like so. Okay, eye rotation. So now let's kind of say this one. So we have that a little bit of a head bob. Remember before it's just kind of like this, going kind of straight. So now it goes, okay, so it has that kind of, I would call it like a whip flash, but kind of look like it. Okay, so it just kind of adds a little bit to that momentum right you're going. And then I put that on frame 6. So that's 5 frames. That can be earlier, so let's do that. Let's go, let's say, move that to frame 5, make it a little bit faster. Okay, so I'm gonna play this kind of real time, then we could see it right there. Okay, so we just kind of added that, and we're gonna add the same thing right here, since this is the exact same thing. So I'm gonna go with 3 frames here. Just kind of rotate that, and then keyframe it, just so that we got some secondary motion there where it's kind of whipping a little bit. All right, there we go. So that's the head. Okay, now let's go with the body. Let's go to right here. So again, 13 is when it's our passing position. So I know, what can we do with this one? It's a robot with very rigid parts, no spine. Okay, so we can't really do that like pelvis bone rotation and shoulder bone counter. So what we can do here is, since it lifted the foot right here, maybe we can rotate the body just slightly this way. Okay, and then the head kind of straighten a little bit, just so that it has a little bit of curvature in there, even though this body is so stiff. Okay, so we just kind of gave it a little bit of that. All right, so I'm gonna select both, okay, body and head, right? On the passing, I'm gonna keyframe the rotation. So now, instead of it just kind of super stiff, we go, all right. So now we do the opposite on the passing also of the other foot, left foot. So this is higher right here. So I'm just simply rotate it, going that way, just a little bit, not too much. And then try to kind of straighten that. I'm just kind of eyeballing that as well. So we have those two right there, body and head. Okay, body and head on the passing, press I, and rotation. So, all right, so it's kind of added those. It's kind of add just a little bit, you know. Okay, so we just did the body, rotated in the front, and then the head, corrected that one so that the head is not bobbing left and right like this. So it's a little bit straight, okay? And what else? Let's see the foot, okay? Right here on frame 1, we have this foot. This is the one that's gonna go up, okay? So when it goes up like so, I would say, let's just time it right there, maybe frame 5 or 6. I'm gonna have a rotation on this one, okay? So we're gonna rotate it kind of like so. And then when it reaches that, it's going to do the other rotation, okay? Or we can go, don't rotate until, let's say, okay, so don't rotate until here because we don't want this colliding on the floor, right? So let's just use this marker for the head, okay? This is the, remember we keyframe the head going this way, so that's frame 5, and then on frame 28, right? So let's just use that kind of marker keyframe right here to keyframe this with no rotation. So don't rotate, okay? Only rotate here, okay? So that's around the passing right here. So I'll go like this, press I and rotate, and let's see that. So lifts the foot and then starts doing the rotation. All right, so now since there's rotation, look at that foot. It's more kind of like that exaggerated sneak now, where like a ballet foot. I don't know if that's, you know, I don't want to get blasted by the ballet community. How dare you call it that? Okay, so there you go. And then, of course, when it lands, we got to correct that, correct? It has to be flat. So this is where we go with the numbers right here. I can just go, that's X rotation. Remember, this is the side. So if I change that to 0 on the rotation, it's back to flat. And then we can keyframe that rotation, okay? So there it is. We added that kind of pointy foot sneak, okay? Kind of extended it a little bit. All right. So now we'll do the same thing for the other foot. So right here, that marker, the same thing as the head bob. I'm gonna say this foot, hey, don't rotate yet. So I, rotation of nothing. Very important when you're just starting with animation that you keyframe even though there's no rotation values. That's always a mistake with beginner animators because they're not putting any value, they don't keyframe it. There is a value, it's called 0 number, because that is a keyframeable value. Okay, so and then we go here, right, the passing right there, and then we go rotate it. I mean, I went with a passing, but you know, you can go a little early if you want. Okay, right there, press I, rotation. Then of course it's going to land with that rotated angle. And all I have to do is on X, put that 0 back, press I to keyframe, then rotation. And we now have that kind of pointy toe exaggeration right there. There we go. All right. And right here looks like it separated a bit right there, so we could move that foot a little bit back right here, most likely, or the body. But I think it just adds to it. Okay, so there's that. All right, what else can we add for our secondary? The tail. The tail we didn't animate at all right? I'm not very familiar with the tail's animation in the game. All right, so I don't know what happens to it actually. So here, it's just kind of, it's moving on its own based on the rotation of the body, right? So what can we do with this? Let's see. I just don't want to make it any more busy looking, all right? So there's our contact position. And then maybe when we're going the passing on 13, what can we do? Maybe lower it. Okay, I just did that. I just grab it and lower it a bit. Press I, location. Okay, so let's see. I don't think it's noticeable right there, even though it's animated. Not unless we want it to kind of go side by side. So I'm gonna go here, the passing also, lower it also. I don't think it's, I'm not seeing any difference from before and after. You know, or maybe we could do, I don't know, this sway. So for balance, remember when we went to the passing, we rotated the body this way. If you have a tail, it's for balance, it's going to go the opposite way, right? So maybe here we could actually move the tail, or maybe rotate it and move it. Okay, so let's do that. Let's see what frame 1 looks like first. So it's just straight on. And then on the passing, what if we rotated it this way and then just kind of move it that way? Okay, so this is on the passing one. So I'm going to press I. I'm going to do both. So remember, we've been keyframing location and rotation separately. There's also an option to keyframe them both, okay, which is location and rotation. Right there, and then right here, it centers itself again. And maybe this one, it'll be, you know, the opposite. So it was that way. Oh, actually, it needs to go this way. I rotated it the wrong way. All right, because it's up. Is it? I'm like trying to imagine the tail. Okay, let's say that's the one. Okay. Rotation. And then it goes this way. We're going to force this to bend that way and move that way. Maybe. Okay, so now we got, you know, it's swaying a little bit. Like I said, it's hard to even see right here. I don't really see the effect. It's too subtle, but we know it's there. It, you know, we're trying to lessen the stiffness. Okay. And also, what else can we do here? So we rotated the body. We added secondary to the body. We added secondary to the head. We added secondary to the foot with the rotation. What about the knee? So the knees right here, why don't we give them a little bit of movement here? So here on the, this is the first contact position. So I'm just going to kind of spread those out just a little bit. Okay. So they're not too stiff, kind of straight on. All right. So I'm going to select those two on frame one. And we're going to re-keyframe their location, okay? And now we're going to go to the passing right here. So we're just wanting this knee right here, knee controller. Oh, where's my knee controller? Is it embedded? Oh, right there, way up front. Okay. And we're just going to kind of move that a little bit. Okay. Right there, and then same thing with the knee right here. Slightly move that. Okay, and then we're going to select both. Again, this is on the passing location, okay? And then when contact, this is where they're both kind of just straight, flat. It's gonna kind of move those a little bit just so that they're not too straight, okay? Location, 37 is passing. This one for sure. Okay, and then knee right here, move that a little bit. Select both of those. Location. And then the contact, just slightly move them just so that it's not too stiff. Location, okay. All right, so there's our kind of sneak right there, very basic. What about the elbow? Can we do anything with the elbow? Maybe when this is the contact right here, and when it's doing the passing, maybe they can go out a little bit. Okay, that's the elbow right there. Maybe right here, or the hand and the elbow can go out a little bit on the passing. Okay, let's do that. Okay, and we'll see first. Okay, location, so we don't want it too busy, so they're tucked in up front a little bit, so when it's trying to do that, they spread out a little bit. Okay, all right, that will be enough, I think. And then on this one, they spread out a little bit also. This is the passing. All right, so select the elbow and both hand controller on the passing, which is 37, and then location. All right, and there it is. Okay, so now let's take a look. I'm gonna go to maybe layout right here, or modeling. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the just kind of watch. Okay, all right. Okay, just kind of exaggerated one. There's, of course, plenty of ways to do a sneak. You can do a sneak where the body's leaning forward all the time. Hands are kind of like raptor hands all the time, or even way back right here when they're sneaking. So this is just so that, because we are so limited with the body here, it's just a stiff, straight body. There's no spine. And I think the Richard Williams method in survival kit, that it's rocking back and forth, works really well with this. Okay, so that would end the lesson.